Hello, the purpose of this video is to show you how to complete the assignment called Thinking About More About Investigation 5, Predicting the Spread of Groundwater Contaminants. We completed this assignment in class on December 12th, 2022. This should be done right after you complete the lab called Points and Plumes, where you made different contaminant plumes using moist filter paper and dye. So in this one, you're going to find out how a contaminant spreads under different circumstances. Be sure to read the beginning of this, and I will jump right to the procedure. In the procedure, it says you're to draw your plumes. So remember, plumes are the spread of contaminant, and we're doing these underground. All right, so we're doing groundwater. For the following scenarios on the geologic cross sections on the back of this paper. So the scenarios are 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those will correspond to the data table, scenario 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first scenario I'll go over with you says choose a colored pencil and draw the contaminant plume you predict would occur if a 200-liter barrel of pesticide is spilled at the Eat 'em Up Berry Farm. If I turn the paper over, you will see, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. This is the cross section for the first scenario. This area is the location of the spill. If you want to look at the bottom, there is a key indicating that the top layer of these is soil. You can find a sand layer, gravel layer, clay layers. The site of the spill is that little drum, and then the area of sprayed pesticide is this area. And we'll get to that in the next scenario. Okay. So originating from a spill here, I want you to draw a plume. So an area where you think that would contaminate the groundwater and what direction it would go. Now, a couple of things to remember is that water flows downhill and that these are tilted. And you should know how water acts in sand, because here's a clay layer. Hopefully you remember how it acts in clay. This is a gravel layer and another clay layer. Now, you're going to have to determine if you think it will affect two wells. The first well is this one. It's marked with an X on your paper, and it is drilled into this layer. The second well is the Fruitvale Municipal Water Well, and that one is drilled down into this layer. Okay? And that's where it collects its water from. All right, so the first thing to do for this one would be to use a colored pencil to draw an area underground that you think this contaminant would affect. Then, going back to the data table, it says, for scenario 1, does this describe a point or non-point source? And you're looking at, the examples are, this is a 200-liter barrel being spilled. Number 2 will be 200 liters, same amount of pesticide spread over the farm. The third one is a 200-liter barrel again, and the fourth one is 200 liters of pesticide again at a different place. So you're going to determine, are those point or non-point sources from what we learned previously? Then how likely to produce a contaminant plume that would include the water well marked with the X. So either you could say very likely, not very likely, not likely at all, unlikely, anything like that. And the Fruitvale Municipal Water Well. Tell me, is it likely, unlikely, somewhat likely? And that's what I look at in these. And then go to scenario 2. Scenario 2 says choose a different colored pencil, draw a contaminant plume you predict would occur if 200 liters of pesticide had been spread evenly over the farm. And that then refers to this part, and there's the pesticide spill.